Om Namah Siddhebhya. What is the world made of? Vishwa kiska bana hai? Before we answer the question, let us understand when can you ask a question made of. For example, if you ask a question, what are these bangles made of? The answer is, the bangles are made of gold. Similarly, if you ask a question, what is this building made of? The answer would be, the building is made of bricks and cement, because these are concrete things to ask about. However, what if you ask a question, what is the house made of? A house is an abstract concept. The house is not a concrete thing like a bangle or a building. A house actually consists of many things. The collection of many things is called as house. Similarly, when you ask a question, what is the world made of? Now the world is not made like a bangle or a building. World is actually an abstract concept, and thus the question should be, what does world consist of? Now the question comes in this presentation. What do you refer to when you call it as world? In this presentation, we are not referring to the world as earth or universe or 14 Rajlok, but we are referring to world as collection of everything that exists. And that brings us to the question, what are the things that exist? Now there are infinite number of things that exist, and if we want to narrate them, it will take us infinite time to narrate all the things that exist. And that brings the need for categorization of these things. For example, these are 4 things. And if I want to talk about them, I may put them all into one category and call them bangles. Similarly, there are infinite things in the world, and we need to categorize them to be able to narrate them. As per Jain Dharma, these things are called as Dravya, and they can be categorized into 2, Jeev and Ajeev. Or you may elaborate these categories and you may place them into 6. Jeev and Ajeev would be further categorized into 5, which is Pudgal, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, Akash and Kal. We will elaborate this in detail little later in this video. Let us first understand what are the rules for making categories. While we are forming categories, we must ensure that the categories are exclusive of each other. That is, things that are placed under one category should not be part of the other category. And this category should be minimum. That is, if we can place all the things that exist into 2 broad categories, we should not make the 3rd category. Another thing that we must consider while forming categories is the categories should be universal. That is, categories that are applicable in one region should be applicable in all the region. Also, it should be constant across time. That is, the thing that falls into one category today should remain in that category at any given point in time. Now let us understand how to create such exclusive categories. Jain Dharma has a concept of abhava. There are 4 types of abhava: pragbhav, pradvanshbhav, anyonabhav, atyantabhav. Let's understand each one of them in detail. प्रागभाव means वर्तमान पर्याय का पूर्व पर्याय में जो अभाव है उसे प्रागभाव कहते हैं. Absence of your present state in your previous state is called as pragbhav. For example, this individual's current state is yuva avastha, youthness, and his youthness was absent in his childhoodness. That is called as pragbhav. Similarly, next abhav is pradvanshbhav, which is defined as वर्तमान पर्याय का आगामी पर्याय में अभाव को प्रध्वंसा भाव कहते हैं. For example, this person's current state of youthness will be absent in his old age. This absence of his youth state in old age state is called as pradvansh-bhav. Next is अन्योन्य-भाव, which is defined as एक पुद्गल की वर्तमान पर्याय में दूसरे पुद्गल की वर्तमान पर्याय के अभाव को अन्योन्य भाव कहते हैं. That is, the current state of one pudgal, we will understand pudgal in detail. For now, understand that the current state of one thing is absent in the current state of another thing. This is called as अन्योन्य भाव. For example, to your left, there is a picture of a milk and a curd. Both of them are present at the moment, but both are absent in each other. This is called as अन्योन्य भाव. Please note, to your right, there is a video which depicts that the current milk becomes curd later on. We are not referring to this kind of milk and curd, because that kind of absence in each other is already covered in pradvansh-bhav. Here we are referring to milk and curd being present together at a point in time, but both are absent in each other, and that is called as अन्योन्य भाव. Next is अत्यंत अभाव. एक द्रव्य में दूसरे द्रव्य के अभाव को अत्यंत अभाव कहते हैं. Absence of one thing in another thing is called as अत्यंत अभाव. For example, जीव द्रव्य and पुद्गल द्रव्य might be at the same place at a time. However, जीव द्रव्य is absent in पुद्गल द्रव्य and पुद्गल द्रव्य is absent in जीव द्रव्य. This kind of absence is called as अत्यंत अभाव. The first three type of abhav is about absence of a state of a thing, either in the state of its own thing or a state of another thing that belongs to the same category. Atyanta bhav is not about absence of a state of a thing. It is about the absence of the thing itself in another thing. Now, to get our exclusive categories, we must create these categories based on Atyanta Bhav. If you make categories based on Prag Bhav, Pradvansh Bhav or Anyonya Bhav, your categories would not stay exclusive and constant across time. Let us understand how. These are categories presented by various theorists. One of the theorists says that world is made of Panch Mahaput, which includes Jal, Akash, Agni, Vayu, Prithvi. Now if you carefully analyze it, you would know that Jal today becomes Vayu tomorrow. Thus, the liquid that you place into Jal category today will have to be considered under Vayu category tomorrow. Thus, it does not remain exclusive categories. Also, if you analyze deeply, you will realize that other than Akash, Agni, Jal, Vayu, Prithvi, all will fall into one category called Pudgal. Thus, it is not minimum category required. It is more than the minimum category required. We will understand how Jal, Agni, Vayu and Prithvi will fall into one little later when we understand Pudgal in detail. Scientists have proposed that the world is made of liquids, solids and gases. Again, things that would fall into liquid today will fall into solid or gas tomorrow. For example, water may become gas tomorrow and may be turned into ice day after. Thus, the same water that is liquid today may become gas or solid tomorrow. There are errors in this kind of categorization because they are based on either Prag-bhav, Pradvansh-bhav or Anyonya-bhav. If we want to get exclusive categories, we will have to divide things into world based on its asadharan lakshan and atyanta abhav. Let us understand how. Jain Dharma, based on the concept of atyanta abhav, has categorized everything that exists in the world into two categories. Further, they have divided the two into 6 categories. And if we wish to further categorize, it can go on to Ananta Anant categorization. These categories are exclusive of each other and can be applicable in all region and all the time. The two categories are Jeev and Ajeev. Things that fall into a Jeev category will not be part of Ajeev category independent of time and space. Jain Dharma has further elaborated a Jiva category in 5, and that brings us to 6 categories: Jiv, Pudgal, Dharmastikai, Adharmastikai, Akash, and Kal. If we wish to further elaborate them, we can elaborate them into Ananta Anand Vibhag, because there are infinite items and each item becomes a category, thus there can be infinite categories. In this video, we are going to understand how to divide everything that exists into 6 broad categories. These categories are based on the unique feature of each thing. The first category is Jiv. Everything that has Gnan in it will be part of Jiv category. Things that has color, smell, taste or texture would be part of Pudgal category. A thing that becomes compatible for Jiv and Pudgal to move is called as Dharmastikai. A thing that becomes compatible for moving Jiv and Pudgal to become static is called as Adharmastikai. A thing that provides space for all the other things is called as Akash. A thing that becomes compatible for all the other things to change is called as Kal. So, these are the 6 kind of categories proposed by Jain Dharma. Let us, through our experience and logic, try to figure out if these categories fulfill all the criteria of making exclusive categories. First, let us understand Pudgal. Things that have Varna, Gandha, Rasa, Sparsha would be called as Pudgal. Now, through our experience, we do know that there are things that exist which has color, smell, taste or texture. These are things that we can know through our sense organs. Now, do we have anything else that cannot be placed in Pudgal category? Yes, we have something called Gnan. Let's see how. I have a question for you. Were you able to understand the features of Pudgal? If your answer is yes, my next question to you is, what did you refer to say that yes, I understood? Did you use your eyes to see that you understood? Did you use your ears to check that you understood? Or did you use nose or a tongue or your skin to know that you understood? Well, you did not use any of the sensory organs to find out that you have understood, because this understanding of yours does not have color, smell, taste or texture. And yet it exists. That is called Gnan. And the thing that has Gnan is called as Jiv. Thus, there is a need for another category, Jiv, which is exclusively different from Pudgal category. Thus, it is logical to have 2 categories, Jiv and Pudgal. Let us understand third category, Akash, which has a unique feature of providing space. Now, you are using an instrument to watch this video. Between you and instrument, there is a space. Does that space has a color? No. Has a texture? No. Has a smell? No. Has a taste? No. Thus it is not Pudgal. Does the space have ability to understand? No. Thus it is not Jiv. But that space exists, right? And thus that becomes the third category called Akash. Next is Kal. It is already more than 10 minutes in this video. And the 10 minutes that passed, does that has Varna, Gandha, Rasa, Sparsha? No. Does that time had the ability to understand? No. Was it space? No. But it does exist. And that's the reason why we have fourth category called Kal. Our current ability to know is limited, and thus it is not possible for us to know Dharmastikai and Adharmastikai directly. However, we can know it through Shastra and logic. The logic behind Dharmastikai is too deep for us to cover in this video. but you may study it from the website jainkosh.org. You will have to search for the word dharma. In this presentation, we will only explain Dharmastikai and Adharmastikai through an example. In Shastras, Dharmastikai has been explained with the example of a fish. Does the water make the fish swim? No. Fish swims on its own. But can a fish swim without water? No. Water is the compatible thing a fish needs to swim. Similarly, Dharmastikai is the compatible thing that a jeev and a pudgal would need to move. Opposite to it is Adharmastikai Dravya. The example given for Adharmastikai Dravya is of a person walking on a street during a hot summer day. As he sees a shadow of a tree, he stops there. The question is, did the tree make the person stop? No, the person stopped on its own. However, the shadow of the tree was the compatible thing the individual needed to stop. Similarly, the state of Adharmastikai Dravya is the compatibility that a moving jeev or a pudgal would require to stop. That is called as Adharmastikai Dravya. These are the unique features of Dharmastikai Dravya and Adharmastikai Dravya. The categories proposed in Jain Dharma are by Sarvagna, someone who knows everything. Thus, the 6 categories proposed by Sarvagna is unchallengeable because these categories are based on Asadharan Lakshan and Atyant Abhava. It fulfills all the criteria of forming categories. These categories are exclusive of each other, they are minimum, they are universal, and they are constant across time. Here we end our video by answering the question, what does world consist of? As proposed by the Jain Dharma, the world is collection of infinite things which can be categorized as jeev, pudgal, dharmastikai, adharmastikai, akash, and kal. Thank you.